Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today it's dark and miserable outside, so it's the perfect time to write a ghost story. If you've always wanted to write a ghost story or anything horror related, you've come to the right place. Horror is my genre of choice whenever I write. My ideas are usually weird, sciencey and creepy, so I'm automatically going to write horror. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how to write a ghost story, and above all that, how to write a good ghost story. Okay, so if you're a beginner, you've probably never written before, or you've only written a few things before and you're not sure if your idea is any good. That's a habit for a lot of writers these days, I'm afraid. Not knowing if your idea is any good. But my one rule is that if it excites you and makes you want to find out more about your story, do it. Go with your gut feeling, which is a lot of what horror is about. Your gut instinct will save your life. So when you're looking to write, really get an interesting idea that keeps you invested in your story. That is one of the big things, because if you get bored of your story, you're not going to touch it again. You'll write a bit of it, put it away, and then do something else and forget all about it. The first thing you do is get a plot sorted. Now, you don't have to get a full plot straight away with every twist and turn perfectly and it's perfectly orchestrated. That doesn't happen straight away. But get an idea. Take inspiration from what you know. Go into horror movies, watch your favourite movies over and over again, or read your favourite horror books and stuff like that. Just get a couple of ideas. What if is a good exercise to use with horror? It's like, what if The Shining was set somewhere different than a hotel? How would that change? What if Jaws was not a shark, but a dolphin that was smarter and able to communicate with people? What if I put a twist like this? What if I did this? And it questions you to come up with some really weird answers, and some of those answers will be really good for your writing. Another tip is to get inspired by yourself. So write what scares you, because you know more than anything, you're the person that can make something that people won't be scared of absolutely terrifying. In a previous video I talked about the time I saw a shadow person, or a shadow or something. The jury's still out on that one. I have no idea what I saw. It was terrifying and it's made me scared of seeing my own shadow. So I've started writing about shadows because I know how scary they are to me, and I can make them even scarier as a writer. So take what you're scared of, ask what if, and then write. And obviously take breaks if it is really scary, or if it's really triggering for you, or if it's something of a sensitive nature. Always take breaks. Do not burn yourself out or really upset yourself, because it can set you back and no one wants that. So write in a way that helps you sort of not get over your fear, but help you confront it a bit more, and like ask all these questions, make it intriguing, make it interesting, and hopefully it'll be some kind of therapy for you. And it has for me, definitely. I'm not scared of shadows anymore, but I'm always thinking, oh, that's a good story idea and stuff like that. It hasn't got rid of it completely, but it's helped, which is a good thing. So get inspired by yourself. You can easily slow down time with writing, so a scene can go on forever if it's just looking across the room at a coffee cup. You can make that scene really long by describing the cup, describing everything blurred around you, and you're focused just on that cup. It can slow everything down so you can really pick up some details. But if you want things to happen quickly, you write quick sentences. So, he dodged. You think, oh my god, what's happening? Oh my god, something's happening. They threw a punch, and you think, oh my god, what's happening? Just something like, it can be quite cliche to go, and then time stopped. You don't need to say that. Just drag it on, like the image of his fist like appeared slowly out the distance and approached my face. Writing stuff like that really adds so much detail that by the time you've got through all the detail, the punch hasn't even happened yet. Like, obviously with ghosts, if you want things to happen really fast, do the same thing. The shadow darted across the door, but then really go into description of the shadow can show how someone is reacting, like how someone's brain is working to decipher the image. So for an example, I can go back to my old video. I was staring in the mirror and the reflection of something behind me, I could see a shadow peering around a door. I would write, I stared into the mirror. The vision of the shadow staring back at me made my heart skip a beat. And obviously skipping a beat is a cliche, but you can do something better than that. As it stared at me, every thought ran through my head at once, and stuff like that detail someone's thought process, because the thought process happens like that in real life, but if you detail everything that goes through your head, it slows down time. And then you can skip to a faster scene where it's like the shadow ducked outside. So you can go from really quick to really slow to really fast again. It's like a camera. The less focused it is, the harder you're trying to, the slower it takes to see something. So write as if everything's blurring. Everything's blurring because it's happening so slowly, or it's very pin focused, so it's going so fast. You see a flicker of a camera shutter and it's just like you're blinking. You blink, the image is changed just slightly. So use it as like a tool to use the shutter speed on a camera. As a writer, I think of my ideas as a movie. I write it how I see it, how I would imagine it as a movie. Like you would pan across, you would zoom in, focus on this bit, you would have a nice close-up of the character here and stuff like that. So find a way to describe the scene to yourself and then put that into words, if that makes any sense. Location can change. You can have interesting locations, such as a swimming pool. Write a list of like random locations you can think of, like swimming pool, an island, a log cabin, a cabin in the woods. Like, I don't use graveyards very often in my writing because I'm comfortable in a graveyard. I don't know why. It's just a calm, peaceful, sort of serene location. Yes, it's dark and it's morbid, but it's kind of comforting. What I find uncomfortable is empty stairwells. Stairwells in the middle of the night, or late at night when no one's around, or you think no one's around. I would try to steer it clear from obvious locations, such as like obviously a graveyard, an abandoned hospital, or and stuff like that. Just avoid the obvious. So another technique I'm going to say now is subvert the obvious. So take what's really obvious, completely turn it inside out. Obviously you can use like stereotypes. If you like look through a load of horror movies or watch a load of horror movies, there are so many stereotypes. The girl who's running away from a killer naked, that's one of them. Someone running through the woods and tripping on everything and you think, oh no, get up, keep running, sort of thing. Take the really obvious, like obviously the weaker woman, the stronger man, or the male killer or something like that. Take it and swap it over. So do the complete opposite. We did this exercise at uni and my story became a comedy very quickly because I chose the theme running through the woods and oh no, I'm tripping over everything sort of thing. Sort of running through the woods, getting hit by so many trees and then tripping over just when you think you're about to escape sort of thing. So I took that, made it completely opposite. So instead of a naked woman running, it was a fully clothed man running. I was like, okay, so I was like, it was a white woman, so I turned it into a black guy. So this black guy is running through the woods, and I thought, oh my god, this is like Get Out. And I was like, oh my god, this is creepy. I was like, yeah, this is creepy, I can see this happening. But then I thought, if I swap the tripping over for jumping over everything, I was like, that picks up the pace pretty quickly. Like I said earlier, that really made things flow a lot more quickly. And thought, what the hell is this guy running away from? So I was like, if it's a killer, let's change it to, if it's a human killer, I'll change it to a monster or something along those lines. But I just could imagine this guy, an athlete, literally running for his life. Now, athletes run really fast, and I thought that is the most terrifying image in my head. This man running at full speed, athlete speed, leaping over tree logs and stuff like that. And I could just have this image in my head, and I thought that's a very powerful image. Like this guy is running full pelt instead of like daintily running through the traditional film sort of, I'm running through, oh no, I fell over sort of thing. Like this guy does not trip or stumble once, and he is just pelting it through this forest. And I just thought, that's a really strong image, so do that. Change it to do the complete opposite of what you were going to do. Like, if it's an abandoned hospital, what if it's not abandoned? Okay, so it's just a hospital. What if the doctors weren't actually doctors? Now that's creepy. So you could get the idea. So you take what you know and change it to something completely different, just to see what happens. It might not work. So I could have gone from a female like running naked, or I could have chosen a male ballerina or something like that. That is comedic. It's like this guy doing beautiful jumps and leaps throughout this forest. So it's depending on what genre you're doing, but really do make an effort to change stereotype. Do the complete opposite to what you were going to do. That's a really good tactic to sort of come up with original ideas that are really bizarre, but some of them do work out. So yeah, really take that one and run with it, like that guy through the forest. Brainstorm your ideas. So do what I said in the previous tips to really come up with a good tone, a good pace, and obviously tone and pace come later when you're physically writing, but really think about how you want the audience or your readers to feel when they read it. So with mine, I want them to feel unsettled, confused, and questioning everything. Brainstorm ideas, think about all the details and all the little bits that you come up with. So let's say, for example, my book, The Last Monk of Blackwood Priory, that started from visiting a location in person. On my honeymoon, we went to a priory, which is a church and some like ruins of a monastery. And standing there in silence with just the sound of the wind was terrifying. And I started to think, what if? What if someone finds us here? What if we're alone out here? What if the car breaks down? What if we're stuck here? What if I saw something behind the building? Now that was the one that I ran with. So what if I saw something? What if I saw a shadow? That was what triggered this idea. Think about details like that and visit interesting places. Visit creepy places, obviously if you have permission. Do not trespass, because it's not fun and you don't want to be arrested. You can't just say, oh, I had a book idea, I need a book idea, so I just trespassed on this guy's land. So really make sure you have permission to go where you need to go to public places. Just sit, listen, watch, like not too intently because you'll get people will think you're creepy. Listen to conversations, take notes of maybe names, any interesting place names that come up, any subjects that come up, and just really watch in detail like you're watching a movie. Movies focus a lot on leaves blowing across the ground, so watch the leaves for a while. Watch the leaves on the trees, watch how the branches move and stuff like that, and try to describe it in your head. That's how I work anyway. Imagine settings and characters and how the characters react to those settings and stuff like that, and come up with a few multiple endings if you can to your book. Obviously don't try to come up with an ending too quickly if it doesn't happen, but your story can always change as you're writing. You can create an outline if you wish. You can write the chronological events. You can just think about every single scene and analyze each one and stuff like that. I try to do that. It doesn't work out for me at outlining anymore because I get all my ideas out into this outline, and the outline is mega long. I just run out of all my ideas into the outline, and after writing a huge outline, I didn't want to write anymore. So that's how my first book ended. I didn't finish it at all. Regarding characters, really think of your characters as real people. Imagine yourself having a conversation with them. What would they say? What would you ask them? And stuff like that. And make sure to write it all down while you're doing it, because it is very interesting to see how quickly your characters develop. Give them history, give them events that have happened in the past that might influence their choices in the future. Get a mental picture of what your character looks like. My character, he is a middle-aged man almost. He is really like uneven stubble. He's got like steel grey eyes, so he has heterochromia. So he has one brown eye and one grey eye, and that's a main plot point which comes in handy later. His mother's side of the family have brown eyes, father's side have grey eyes, and somehow he has got heterochromia, so he has one eye of each colour. His father's bloodline is very important to the family, so obviously if he's got a brown eye, then yeah, he's gonna be scorned from birth, to be honest. So yeah, that's his character development. That's why he is very strong and very, very unique, and why it gives him a good start of being completely unique from the very beginning, and why he's very important in the story. So stuff like that, really think about your main character, make sure you have a really strong character. I will go into characters a little bit more deeply in another video. Another good tip is to use conflict. So not only conflict with the main character and the antagonist or creature or monster that you're using, make sure they have more than one conflict. So instead of being worried about, I don't know, like the game Alien Isolation, you don't just have the alien to worry about, you have other people turning against you for survival and for food, and you also have robots that go insane and try to kill you too. Build up dread and terror slowly. What I like to do is describe landscapes and describe everything that's creepy about a location. You can say it's like a field. Everyone has a different image of a field, but if you describe it differently, so if you say a foggy field, people have an image. It's like, okay, I get that. And then write a figure walked across the field concealed in a veil of fog. Then that's creepy. So yeah, really like get some description going in there. It helps afterwards to read your story out loud. That way if you stumble over anything or if you find something hard to read out loud, you can revise it and change it to be easier for you and easier for readers to read your book as well.